Hello. All right. Can you talk? You need to unmute, pal. Bottom left. Unmute.
Unmute. Okay, I've got it, I think. Right. I can hear you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shaun Anthony Blackwood. He can win a World Bodybuilding Championships in Rome, Italia, but he can't figure out how to use a phone.
No.
Oh, hello, sir. Let me put my little light on.
Yes.
There we go. Whoa, look at that. Shine a bit of light on it. So, phone on Do Not Disturb or silent, if you will.
Just do that now then. All silent, yeah.
Take them off so we've got a bit, haven't got so much glare. Keep going sideways. Oh, now we've lost him. He just wants to put a picture of him with his top off. That's fair enough. He's earned it. Where have you gone now, Shaun?
On Do Not Disturb.
This is, that's maybe why, because if you put it on, okay, you're back. You're back. No, you've gone again.
I've gone again. Right. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a lot of fun. But it doesn't matter. Look at all those trophies. Where's my finger? Look at all those trophies behind him. Look at that. So, very quick little chat with my friend. Look at that one, the gold one. We may be seeing that in a minute. In fact, we've got something prepped just to show a little picture. But what I want to do, Shaun, the reason I've asked you to do this is to say hello because I haven't seen your pretty face in a month or more. And then to kind of get out into the open, share contacts, my contacts from all the years that I've taught and interacted with people about what you do. Obviously, like myself, your business is going to have took a big hit. We work face to face. We work very hands-on. The current environment doesn't really bode well for that. So if we can kind of share a few pieces of wisdom, a few bits of information, and just give you a bit of a highlight as to what you do. So what I'd like you to do for the boys and girls, men, women, etc., for the in-betweeny binaries, the others, as when you take the questionnaire of sexuality, would you like to explain to us a little bit about your background, who you are, what you've achieved, what you currently do, both before lockdown and be interesting to see, mate, because we haven't really talked that much about what you're doing at the moment. So just give us a bit of a biog, if you will.
Shaun Blackwood. I'm a current personal trainer, based in a few gyms, but my background stems actually from being in the army, as you probably know. So 16 to 18.
I know, look at this. So it's a shame because Shaun didn't listen so well at school. Otherwise, he could have been Royal Air Force. But never mind, it's all right. Somebody has to carry the heavy stuff and dig the holes. Go on, pal.
Yeah. Story to it as well, because like many have tough times, it was very tough for me growing up. So that's one of the reasons. Between my mum and dad, things didn't get on. So that's one of the reasons why I felt that would be the best option for me than maybe going down another route and getting into trouble and stuff. So that's one of the reasons what made me get into going to the army. So I decided to go into the Royal Green Jackets, which was just the first one that I knew. So that's what I love to do. After that, I've worked in security and bars and restaurants and obviously retail security. But after that, I decided, why am I doing something that I'm not really passionate about anymore? And it's just, again, causing violence and trouble and dealing with issues that was just, taking home, and it just upsetting me a lot of the time. So I decided to reach out and do something else, hence contacting you and doing your PT course.
Indeed.
And I found out how hard the PT course was. So very intense. And I think it was 8 hours, 40-something minutes it was for me to complete your
pretty much one of the record holders, but the result was that you passed. I mean, Shaun's alluded there, my courses are very in-depth. They are very challenging. I don't teach the typical government guidelines. We cover that, obviously, as the basics of what other people are doing, but we're going to teach the truth. So it goes way over and above. So instead of using outdated and even when they were in-date nonsense formulas for fat burning, how many times have you had your fat burning zones tested now, Shaun?
at least 4 or 5 times minimum, at least.
Yeah, and
Easy.
including the new gentleman we're using now, Dr. Gary Palmer. So we've updated the test with some of the parameters and the raw data that we get. But this just shows the professional that Shaun is, and we're going to hear more about the professional bodybuilding. But as a professional in the realms of personal training, he chose to study with, I honestly think, the most challenging qualification in this country. His examination, written only, was over 8 hours, and then he's got practical on top of that. But when we measure in-depth parameters for looking at optimal fat burn, maintaining muscle tissue, or if it was a different kind of athlete, you know, if I'm working with track or field or footballers or boxers or whatever it might be, we look at lactate threshold and VO2 max, so training parameter zones. But you've had a lot of work done on your bloods as well, Shaun, and other stuff, so it's very in-depth and for some people too intense. But this is how we achieve great accolades. So as Shaun said there, a lot of us that go into forces probably do it to get away from home. And it's to get into an environment where, you know, we can get, if you like, respected for the hard work that we put in. Everybody starts off on an even playing field. We're all nothings, according to the instructors. And then we build up our reputation by the application and dedication of our service. So a very respected regiment, Royal Green Jackets, which sadly, like most regiments, is no longer. But that's given, no doubt, Shaun, an awful lot of discipline and good standing and understanding of a work ethic. So I, for one, am very proud of him and glad he's mentioned that, because it's something a lot of people don't know about it. When I met him, he was working in security and stuff, as he said, and then having done my courses, has built up a very successful career as a personal trainer. So tell us a bit more about your personal training and the kind of client base you've got, pal, who you work with, what you like to do, what areas you have of particular interest within PT, because obviously it's a wide scoping profession.
Obviously doing the PT, I've just got this passion to help people, and it just gives me so much, so much help in terms of giving so much people some help and wisdom and knowledge and some experience in obviously trying to train smarter. But what the emphasis for me in helping someone is trying to help them overcome, help them try to develop themselves, find themselves through some movement or through PT, and obviously doing things in a better, smarter, strict and safer way to suit the needs of the person. Obviously, as you know, I haven't completed a nutrition course, so I stick with the PT.
One day, mate. One day we're going to
You're going to get me one day. Yeah. So I like to stick with more of the PT. And as you know, I'm sure having a big client base yourself and dealing with lots of people, with people following certain plans and sticking to the plan, that's something you know I can do. And it is hard and it is difficult for, you know, someone just to follow something straight away and just do something, you know, just follow a plan to the T. But again, I think this is where the discipline and all the things like being in the army that's helped me to, right, this is what you've got to do, this is what you're told to do, and this is how it has to be done, and execute it down there. But also, for me, it takes accountability off, a little bit of something else less to think about in terms of this is what you need to do. I do it on a daily basis. I set a routine, follow a regime, and that's the best way I find that works for me. But also with clients in terms of mindset, is trying to work with them to adapt, to see what works best with them. Because sometimes, as you know, I send people to yourself and they find things quite difficult. So I'm here to try and ease the burden, to try and not contradict anything ever that you say or do, but just find a way. And that's why it's important to have the communication through you and working as a team. Hence, I have a personal trainer myself. I feel it's important that the trainer needs a trainer. And as you say, forever learning, always learning. I think it's important that, you know, there's never a bridge here. It's always continuing to grow, and, you know, personal development to myself and others, but seeing things that people can't see in themselves, just giving that passion to try and draw it out, because they don't always know themselves. So, you know, you start at one point and they get to another. So hence why they say it's the journey, not the destination, and being part of the journey with somebody. And the clients that I work with, you know, mainly gym based, obviously, and it's just a passion for me to see them move and evolve and change, but also develop themselves to show and teach another in the right way. just like you would think of, you know, passing something on to the next generation. You know what I mean? Passing the next one, and that's what I feel very passionate about.
And that is what you're doing, is what I do. And that, I mean, that's one reason we have a great mutual respect. I mean, what Shaun has achieved in the realms of bodybuilding, which we'll get onto, is phenomenal, very, very high end. But he's a very humble man. Everybody that comes to me speaks so highly of him, but we have this amazing mutual respect. I have my area of expertise. Shaun has his, but we communicate a lot. When he sends people to me, he tells them, you know, Cain, he's going to be very thorough. He's going to want your bloods. He's going to want health history. He's going to want your medication. He's going to want your food diary. And I'm very respectful to make sure that, you know, I enhance what Shaun's doing with them. Again, not contradict. We use the same people for, as we talked about, the fat burning and the fitness tests. As a veteran, there's a real, you know, kind of interesting point you made there. So trying to think which side I've got, because I'm mirror image there. So as an Army veteran and as an Air Force veteran, you know, it's ingrained into us, you know, not to not question. People think, you know, we follow orders without question. That's not necessarily the truth, but you respect why sometimes the things are coming your way. The person that's giving those orders has very often achieved a reason why they've got that rank, and that is respected. But it's still for us to think about things, and that's, you know, something we do between us and with others. Because I go and do a consultation with one of Shaun's clients, he knows them, he knows their background, he knows their emotional load, you know, from friends, family, work, and etc. So he is their absolute face-to-face personal point of call. So, you know, things will change around the application of the advice I would give, and Shaun straight on the phone to me or send me a message, and we adapt and overcome, because he cares about his clients. That's absolute key, that he does care about his clients. On the subject of nutrition, Shaun, might be a time to introduce within the next week or two. Might be interested, because obviously, and I'm going to ask you about the dynamic of your business, but this is what I'm doing for some people. So this morning I've been teaching a course, just 4 people on it. We like to keep it small, you know, more individualized, a lot of communication and interaction. So, you know, we can have some good discussions if we've got 3-4 people. You can't with 20-25. But I will be offering a level 2 of qualification in good nutrition. It's a lot more basic than my nutrition course, but a great introduction for somebody who doesn't maybe want the full challenge at the moment. And again, at the moment, we can't do the classroom stuff. So you will get a government recognized OFQual level 2 qualification. So here and now, Shaun, I know I've mentioned it to you, but I'm going to offer you a place to get on there, and, you know, look after your pal. People get not just the input, but, you know, the off-screen mentoring and stuff, because I know Shaun's knowledge on nutrition is a lot greater from personal experience, and then just seeing what I've done with his clients and his own self-study than he gives himself credit for. And it's amazing, as I said, having won and achieved within business what he's done. He's a very honest and humble man. So that means a lot to me, because he's not just a client, he's not just a student, he's a friend, he's a personal friend. And, you know, we've swapped, you know, information backwards and forwards about personal things in our life, because we trust each other. For God's sake, the man's been stripped down to his underwear in my living room more times than I care to mention, but there's been a reason for that on a professional level. So let's ask, before we go over your accolades in what you've achieved in bodybuilding. So, as you said, very much a busy gym-based personal trainer, like myself. That's where I work out of one sole location, really. Consultations and things are different, my teaching, whatever, but if I'm working one-to-one with my clients doing PT. So what are you doing at the moment? What's happening? I mean, the world has turned upside down for people like you and me. How are you getting on? How are you getting by?
What I'm trying to do is trying to have a bit more self-development, because, as you know, I'm a kind of person who keeps himself to himself. I stay quiet, stay under the radar, and I just like to sort of stay grounded and just try and work on myself to actually give out better and more later on. So, for example, every day I go out and I do a little bit of cardio, just a bit of a walk, get the fresh air quite early. Yeah. But what I do is, in my phone, is I'll either go through some of your Facebook posts that actually, yeah, some of your Facebook posts, because obviously I've been to all, you know, pretty much most of the seminars that you will put on.
Always, you're a great support.
Yeah. Also, it's just having like an audio, because you're like an audio book, and I know that you're full of knowledge. So the more knowledge I can get from you, and even if I pick up 1 or 2 things a day, you know, having an odd thing in my manual, I'll take some screenshots, just have a look at doing more assessments. I always find that with your coaching, with your training, with your PT course, it's also just, it's so individualized on the person, and making sure that we give so much, but we have so much of an assessment of the person and nothing's generic. I don't do online like yourself. I've got to see the person. I can't watch somebody lift up a weight and see the shoulder mechanics moving and doing all this. I've got to be there to see them engage and do certain things and correct them that way. I just have too much integrity, thinking I'm taking people's money, doing a service that it's not easy, but I'm taking away from what I could give even more so. And that's why I prefer not to do the online type of training. And I prefer the one-to-one. That's why it's called personal training, isn't it? Personal to the person. Mm-hmm. And when they do need a little bit extra and a little bit more, that's out of my parameters or barriers, I then say, well, the next best person who I know is the man who I'm speaking to.
So how are you getting on now? Are you seeing, or not seeing face-to-face personally, but are you doing any kind of conference call training? Are you doing any mentoring over the phone, keeping an eye on your people? How are you earning, but how are you supporting your current client base as well?
Back to, go on to the universal credit kind of thing. And, it's dark times and hard times. And this may constitute to later on where I'm living in this apartment. I might have to let it go later. I mean, I've got a good partner and a good missus and everything else. And one thing I've learned more importantly is having the extra time, because I do work 6 and 7 days a week, and a lot of dedication is to the work. And I need to have that balance of finding that family life on top of everything as well. During the course of what's happening as well, now I'm speaking to my clients more so on the phone because I'm personal like that. So people I've been working with, I like to have a phone call conversation, and a lot of people that are texting me, stuck indoors, stuck in the house, it's about trying to motivate them. So you don't realize the power of having a phone call or a FaceTime, and how it's working on so much people that are saying, I haven't got enough weight, but also everybody's making it about the gym. And I'm trying to say there's a lot more out there as well. And I'm a person that lives and breathes this. And, we've just got into this thing, but I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the friends and family that I do have, reconnecting with a lot more people, and also trying to stay safe. And that's what I want everybody to do, is not do what some of the people are doing. And I want them to realize that I know it's going insane inside, staying in and doing this, but you can walk, you can do a few things. What do you think what we used to do in the army? Press ups, sit ups, all these drills. There's so much you can do with so little, but we just think we need that big bulky weight, we need this, that, and the other. And it's just trying to change the perception of how people think, and try and put it in a different way.
Good. And made a great couple of points there. I mean, stay in but get out sounds a bit contradictory, but I mean, you've seen, I don't have the superhero physique for real. Mine's padded, mate. We need to get you out doing the Avengers, and from across the road join me and Oscar, but we're going out raising smiles. I mean, photos were taken yesterday and people are asking what we're doing it for. We're just doing it to have fun ourselves, to keep my spirits up, certainly, to keep Oscar entertained. And what 8-year-old doesn't want to dress as a superhero and run around the streets with his 6'2" daddy, for God's sake? But people are saying, what are you raising money for? And we said, nothing. I mean, awesome. Look at Captain Tom, what he's done with gift aid, over 35 million. And I've said, if anybody wants to donate to him, honorary colonel now. But it's about understanding that we are still able to move and exercise, and people are getting really hung up. I've had a kind of mentoring call earlier with somebody that just taken me on to give them advice, and they want to compete in the summer. And I've said, realistically, look, it's not happening. You're not going to have the greatest development. You're not going to have the easiest time. You haven't got the kit, and stop focusing on that. You need to adjust your thinking. Otherwise, you're going to get really frustrated. And there's a big wide world, and you can go out and, kind of within reason of, staying in the vicinity of your home, ride your bike and walk across the park or woodlands, or do your press ups and do your bodyweight exercising, do your exercise band and do your stretches. And if you're lucky enough to have weights kit, I know people are missing the social interaction of the gym, but as you've said there, look at what we've got. We've got Zoom, we've got Messenger, we've got WhatsApp, we've got Facebook Lives, it's FaceTime, whatever. It's endless. Think about, and I know people have harped on about it, but the Bulldog Spirit and the Blitz, during the war, they had nothing like this, but they did have a close-knit community, whether they were underground you know, in London, huddled together, they had people. We need to still be in touch with people. So it's great to hear that you're staying in touch with your clients, which I know you would, because you're that kind of guy. And I'm trying to do that as well. I'm here, and then a phone or a video call when anybody wants any support or if they've got questions. But, you know, it's for us all to be screaming the door down at the gym. There's a lot you can do, but we need to stay safe. So I'm glad you put that message across, pal. And, you know, if somebody like Shaun Anthony Blackwood, British and world champion and professional bodybuilder, can tell you he doesn't need the heavy weights at the gym for a while. He understands what's important. And as he said, making time for himself, reevaluating a few things, but some personal development, reading, and, you know, whatever it is he's doing, raising his knowledge level, raising his spirituality, looking back at the, you know, good times in his life, connecting more with the people he's with, and maybe reconnecting with those he hasn't spoke to for a while, which I'm doing. I mean, with some of the posts I put out with the lives, I've got a live going out this evening, and there's people commenting that were in my life 20, 25 years ago as clients or friends or, you know, students. So it's amazing how this is opening a window for some of us to what's important. And hopefully that recognition and realization carries on afterwards. So I rattled off a few of your accolades and titles, mate, but you're absolutely surrounded by trophies, trinkets, medals. Run us through some of the things you've achieved in your bodybuilding career, pal, please.
In 2005, I did the first timer, and as you probably know, there wasn't as many federations, and at that particular time, it used to just be one show and one British. You put all your effort into qualifying and put all your effort into doing the British. Obviously now, there's so many more federations coming through, which is an amazing thing because it gives me the opportunity to compete a bit more often. And as you know, with what we've been doing together, sometimes we can do a 2-week run and do a few shows. So this year it happened to be 4 shows as opposed to doing the 2. I mean, obviously we've done quite a bit more. So 2008, I've done my first competition and I did first timers. I had 23 or 25 guys in my class, and I was lucky to win that. So
you were lucky
the first one's
to win that, mate. You achieved a great win with a big category. So, you know, having been a judge at international level, luck doesn't come into it. You had the quality physique that was the best on the day, pal. And it's simple as.
I had a mentor then by the name of Jim Bolton. I don't know if you remember back in the day. He was an awesome guy. And just to bring into that as well is when I decided or was asked to compete at Ironworks, where obviously is my main base of work, at the time was Bob Forever Young and Jim Bolton. And they're the ones that saw in me to take things a bit further, because when I started initially, it was more about powerlifting. Yes, I was a typical ego lifter, try and look good for the girls and all the rest of it, but weren't focused on all the body parts. So it was just a case of lifting weight. And then I realized to do sculpture your body, it's an art form. So you have to sort of find how you can, you know, carve your physique in certain ways to develop certain muscles in certain ways to make them look better. So that's what pushed me into that. So I'm very grateful for those two, but also they also sponsored me right away off the bat. And a little story to that, when I first started doing the bodybuilding, I was lacking legs because that'd be something I really didn't like to really do. The first time I did legs in Ironworks, I was doing a set with somebody and he says, come on, let's press hard, doing the leg press, doing X amount of stuff. And then as soon as I stood up, I just went, bleh. And then Bob comes over, it's all right. So Bob's come over and said, it's all right. He starts cleaning it up and I didn't realize. And then that's another sign that puts people off, you know, getting sick and feeling the feeling that you do. And you go, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. So he then said, Jim Bolton said, for the next 3 to 4 months, I only want you to train lower body. So he gave me a set routine to only train lower body to catch up the top off. So it's quite hard and quite difficult to do, but then he sponsored me straight away with Bob. And, you know, they put a lot into me to do my first ever competition. So that's why it's very important to me that one and the people that helped me at that time push me forward. And that's something that's important to me, that because as a bodybuilder, I always constantly struggle, and it's the same for many competitors, you know, pushing yourself through, getting the help. It's nice that some people believe in you and help you and give you something for nothing, that are, you know, all these products put into one person. So I get to go on stage, show myself and put myself up to being the best. I see a laptop there. Yeah. Yeah. So these are the important things to me. That's important. That was the start of where I came from. Obviously, continue on throughout the journeys. I've had other prep coaches, as you know. One of them was your ex clients who put me on another way, and I found out a different system and a different way of working with my body. I then did another 4 shows with him, and I did quite well with them. But rather than talk about too much about the trophies I did, because most of the time I've competed in qualification and qualifiers, I've usually come first or second or third. I've usually placed top 3, but I don't like to make it about the accolade as well until you get something like the British finals and place top 6. I've never not placed top 6 in the British finals ever that I've ever done. So again, I feel like I'm quite lucky to have that. With you, I became one of my first British title in 2016. So you can imagine from 2005 to 2016, there's a lot of shows in between, qualifiers, British championships, but then to get obviously my first and foremost British title in 2016, which again was a new federation, the PCA, that was up and coming at the time. So that was amazing. And 2017, we won the IBFA British title. And obviously now we've won the Worlds last year, winning a couple of trophies there at the Worlds in my first ever international competition, which is an amazing thing to do.
Not just a couple of trophies. What trophies did you win in Rome, pal?
Well, my class. So obviously it was the Mr. class. And I think it was up to 175 height. I'm 173. And then I obviously, before that, won the best posing routine as well at the show.
Shaun's presentation on stage is pretty legendary, and people come far and wide to get tuition from him on posing. He really is a master at keeping people's attention, drawing them in, and highlighting his physique. And it is about presentation on stage. It's something that a lot of bodybuilders, especially early in their career, don't really understand. You could have the amazing physique in the gym. It's about bringing it all in on the day, which is shape, symmetry, condition. But then if you can't pose, having been a judge, I've judged in Bangalore in India, and Miss Universe and British Championships with EFBB, it's now UK BFF. But, you know, to watch somebody have done years and years of training and months of dieting and prep, and then they don't know how to hit basic poses or put 60 to 90 second choreographed routines together. Shaun really is a master of that. And you picked up an extra little bit of something in Rome. I don't mean the ice cream, because we know you picked a few of them up afterwards, but what else did you achieve in Rome?
In Rome, I then became a pro, where I come third. So in the overalls, lucky enough to give the top 5, I believe, all pro cards. So it's obviously very close. And there was some amazing physiques out there, and obviously it gave me the pro card status.
Yeah, so that was like the Championship of Champions, where they all go together. So I might have a little picture. Hopefully I can bring it up and do a share screen so people can see. So I'll just click on there and click on there. So what people should be able to see is a big smiley Shaun Anthony Blackwood, pumped up and tanned, and 2 of the trophies that he picked up on that day, and then the IBFA pro card. In fact, one of the first pro cards in the first ever show they've ordered the pro cards, I believe, yeah? So I'll bring you back, mate, 1 second. So you've got the picture there. Just bring you back. Okay, you should be back now, pal. Oh, are we on silent? Why are you on silent?
I see you.
Oh, there you are. You're there. Your sound dropped off when I share the screen, so it just takes a second to come back. So I just wanted people to see the level that you achieve really is of excellence. Not because it's not just about size. It's not, although it's called bodybuilding, a size competition. It's a complete package, especially at that level. You've got people literally from all over the world. And as I said, you know, Shaun travelled at his own expense to Rome, Italy, and you know, a lot of these competitions, there's not a lot comes back financially. There's a lot of time, effort, dedication, but also money goes into it. And it is a sport that is done for the love of it. And obviously the feedback, Shaun being a personal trainer, you know, loans itself to great marketing and publicity of he actually can walk the walk. He can strut the strut, in fact, rather than just talk the talk. But, you know, it's not the kind of sport. If you were a world champion in golf, in darts, in tennis, in basketball, in anything else, imagine what you'd be, you know, kind of rewarded with financially. That's not the case, is it, Shaun? So tell us why you started competing in 2005, you know, 2016, you've won a British, now 2019, you've won a world. It's a lot of investment, time, effort, money, energy, sweat, chicken breast. What is it you get out of bodybuilding, pal?
More than trophies, more than anything, is there's probably only one major reason. And the story of me getting into bodybuilding or wanting to get myself into shape was when I used to work as a bars manager many moons ago. I used to have a particular guy by the name of Fraser Gretton who used to work for me, and he's a handsome chappy, and he reminded me of Jean-Claude Van Damme. Just had an absolute awesome physique. And that's probably that kind of steps into that stone of jealous and proud. I find that sometimes in the fitness industry, there's a lot of people who are jealous and proud and jealous and hate.
Yeah.
So I decided that I asked him to show me what to do into the gym. And it was actually him that actually got me into training and get me to do it a little bits and bobs. So that was the main reason why I wanted to do it. Taking the seriousness in competing was that I felt that there were certain challenges that you have to find within yourself. I'm a big fan of Muhammad Ali, Bruce Lee, self-development, all type of knowledge is self-knowledge, finding yourself, taking myself to the limit, Superman, testing yourself and trying to be a beacon of hope to help people, as well as doing what you're doing personally and leading the way, paving the way, showing people, you know, hard work, consistency and what you can do. But it is little by little, it is step by step. And that's what people can't see sometimes, is the bigger picture. If you have a student that says, right, this is going to take 7 years and this, that, and the other, or someone looking at the top of the mountain, they look and they go, oh, no. But they don't realize it's step by step, break it down. And that's how it is. Seeking help, mentors, coaches like yourself. And that's why I can't fathom how much, you know, honor and love that I can give to you in not only your knowledge and what you do for me, as well as my trainer, who you know is like my father figure. Used to, you know, just give me so much drive and passion to want to please you, but also try and show people that I have, especially client base and people out there that I don't know, the people that I do interact, but especially when I get on that stage and coming up with the routines that I do, I like bringing people together. It's like watching a film and seeing the score. If you watch Rocky and you just saw boxing, but when you see the noise, it's all that comes into everything else. So I kind of live for getting on stage, getting to my best shape. And also, as much as the next person, I want to win. You know, I train to be a champion. I think like a champion, train like a champion, try and be a professional, stay humble, stay grounded, but also bringing those people together. And when I do my routines and what I do on stage, seeing the smiles and the applaud of bringing people together, because seeing the compulsories all day long for 6-7 hours and a lat spread and a double bicep, it's just bringing that swagger, that something else extra, and that's where it becomes unique. And I try and be unique to motivate, inspire, and make people think, oh my God, but try and join the audiences in the kids of the next generation, the people that are there, the judges, everyone who's worked there all day hard. They just try and bring something to life and just bring that character, because especially I'm quite humble, as you know, and it's just like when you get a surprise that you don't know about, it's like, and that's how I try and portray myself in that sense.
Well, I mean, I will say this to you, and I've said it to your face, mate, but an example of who you are, I think Shaun is an amazing, I know he's an amazing athlete. Look at his freaking trophies. But as a person, I think he actually outshines his, you know, his accolades in bodybuilding. You know, he has a huge heart. And what was it? We were doing something. It was only the last couple of days. I might have been at the computer on for something. I don't do work with Oscars here, but he saw the picture and he recognised you straight away. Oh, no, I think you messaged me about today. And I opened the message and I says, oh, I'll send you the link. And he says, is that Shaun? I says, yeah, it's Shaun, champion Shaun. He says, the one I beat at school. So Shaun had just won one of his British titles, one of his several. And he came down to Oscar's Sports Day, which was in the playground outside, and had my banners up. He brought his trophy down. I don't know who got more of a buzz of him coming down in his tight T-shirt, the children or the mums, but certainly he had a bit of attention. And there was a great guy called Danny, had set up, he had a thing, Commando Kids. He's an ex-Royal Marine. And Oscar was doing Commando Kids. It's stopped now, but he loved doing it on a Sunday up at the park. So anyway, he'd set up in the playground. I'd kind of spoke to the head and said, this would be great for the kids, have a bit of fun, a bit of physical activity. Shaun came down with his trophy and joined in. And him and Oscar had a race. And this is Shaun all over. You know, there's no airs and graces, there's no ego, there's no check me out attitude. He's a very withdrawn, shy, quiet guy. I mean, there's one person that I would compare you with, pal, and I know you know the name. And as a person, to me, again, outshines, and, you know, don't know him as well as I know Shaun, but he was a student of mine. I travelled with him to India, and that's the great Charles Claremont. And this guy was a absolute legend of a bodybuilder, 5-time Mr. Universe, IFBB pro, and same kind of temperament as you, mate. And I have trained, as you know, hundreds, thousands of bodybuilders, figure fitness champions, track and field boxers. But it's people like you that make me still love this part of the job. You know, I have very little to do with bodybuilding, mate. In the 90s, I was so passionate. I went to all the shows and all the pros, trained at all the big gyms, actually had a physique myself, you know, would you know, get all the magazines and knew the weight of everybody in the Olympia. I can't be bothered now. Shaun is one of the very few people that will get my time, application, dedication, and friendship in the arena of bodybuilding. And that's because of who he is, not what he's won. So on that, 2 questions to wind up, pal, because I'm sure it must be time for you to eat. What do you want to do moving forward with your bodybuilding? And then the next question is going to be, how do you feel about the current situation? What advice do you have for the boys and girls? Where do you see us going? Do you think this is going to change how we work? But first of all, you know, this is going to settle down. You know, when, how much? I think the world's going to be a very different place, but I'm sure there'll still be bodybuilding competitions. You know, you've got a world title to defend, pal. Is that something you want to do? Where do you want to go with your bodybuilding career?
Now that I made it to pro status, I would like to continue to compete because it's something I love to do. Because if I wasn't doing it, I'm not sure what else I'll be actually doing to have a target and a deadline or something to work towards doing what I'm doing. And now that I've made it to this type of level, I want to see if I can test the boundaries and test the limits of where I can go. But as you know, and maybe this might branch into another thing, is that we have the health first approach. And that's what we feel is more important. Now, someone like yourself or my trainer who have never competed, who have never done it, and how many gurus and coaches who do a competition or two think they know everything. And you're talking to somebody who's had 20 plus years in the game and still forever learning, still watching you, still trying to get the advice of where we can help and develop people. And if I can't do it myself, here is another, and I'm sure you know that one yourself, of passing people on where they can get a little bit more or something else that's more specific or directed to them to suit their needs. And that's what's so important about working with people individually to get them to the best way that they can be. So I kind of find that when I'm training clients, it's kind of like the Star Wars, the Jedi Master and the Apprentice. But what we're trying to do is find the way that suits best for you. You're not trying to emulate, copy me and be the next me. We're trying to find ways that we can better yourself. So the self-actualization and the way we can develop yourself in becoming your best version and the best you that you can be. And then it's up to you to teach it, pass it another. Hence, I get that from you and Terry, and I'm still forever learning myself. And I try and pass that. So each time I train with a client or speak to someone else, that's the difference. And it might be just saying hello to someone in the shop. It might be just, you know, sometimes I'll speak to people and, like, you know, ask about training or ask about something else. You don't realize how enlightenment these things and communication with people, you know, this brings together.
No, it makes a difference to people's lives. Absolutely. You do motivate and inspire in different areas. You've got people I know, you know, are business professionals, but excellence in any field carries over and inspires and motivates people to be excellent in other fields. I'm not sure. I think you've just called me Yoda, a little green guy, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay. So, you know, it's potentially an emotive thing. We don't know what's happening, but how are you, pal, feeling, dealing with, taking day by day, and how do you see it changing who you are and what you do. Because certainly with me, you know, I'm not an online guy. You know, I'm very much about being face to face with the person, whether I'm taking bloods, whether I'm doing a consult, whether I'm training people, whether I'm teaching. Now, I wouldn't say I've been forced to. Actually, it's nice. I mean, because the people that are doing their first aid for mental health, like I said, it's an in-depth level 3. So we've jumped in at the higher level. But I know them. 2 are ex-students, and the other 2 I've interacted with are good people who help a lot, you know, volunteering and within charity work and stuff. So when I've got a good audience, you can make that work via mediums like Zoom or, you know, kind of, but it's Messenger, WhatsApp, and I'm doing the consults by that. And I know I'm still helping. I do feel, you know, I can't give it my 100%. Just certain services, I can't do body composition assessment, I can't take the bloods, etc. But I can certainly work through those, and there's tests I can do, which can be done remotely if I send the kits. So for both of us, this is a very different alien world. So how are you feeling about it, and how do you think it's going to change who you are and what you do as and when we come out the other end?
Each day we get is a special time. I think that, you know, every day we get to live and breathe is, you know, is important to us. Going forward with that, it's also about having some structure and a plan. And I always feel that at the moment, trying to keep some routine and regime for myself, for my personal development in what I want to do. If the worst case scenario comes, I've planned that if I have to get a job for a little bit, because we just don't know how long the gyms are going to be open, we reopen. And that's the problem. We can't say in 6 weeks, we can't say in 10 weeks, towards the end of the year, show-wise, we can't have a deadline or a date or something else. So you've got to make other ways and adapt and try and find ways that you can work best for yourself. If it means I have to step out a little bit, but still do what I'm doing and do something else, just to kind of tie me over a little bit, and things will come back and thrive. And I always believe that, you know, things happen for a reason. And it's just a case of now, once it does come back, we just find another way and another approach to make things better. But I've got a few things like having more time, structuring things a little bit differently for myself. And these are the things I want to take important. And I don't think there's much more important than family, the human race, and looking after each other. And that's what I believe that's important for now, because you don't know what we've got or what's coming or what's doing. It's just a case of do the best you can, look after yourself, look after family, stay safe, enjoy the times that you have got. And it's very important to, you know, spend time with loved ones.
That's great words, mate. I really do, you know, because there are people that are getting absolutely massively, you know, kind of frustrated and anxious about they can't go to the gym, and yet we've got a guy here who's the world's best bodybuilder, and he's putting things into context of the current situation, that things will improve. You know, look, I've done this job for 27 years, got qualifications coming out of yin yang, I've been all over the world lecturing, and I'm looking at job alternatives. You know, I'm looking at doing marshalling of cars because they want veterans at the testing centre at Edgbaston Cricket Ground. You know, we've got to do, and we're helping. You know, that is giving back. That is helping the effort to get people tested. And, you know, I have very mixed feelings about some of the news we're getting fed, but I choose not to harp onto that. What you've said there about looking at the great in any situation. So look, I get to homeschool Oscar and, you know, be more than the daddy that I want to be, which I want to be the best daddy in the world. But, you know, I'm getting to be a school teacher for a while, and we make sure we go out and we cheer other people up, you know, dressed as silly characters. But, you know, the waves and the beeps, we had a police car fire its siren up at us yesterday. I was a bit worried we were in trouble for a while, but they're all smiling and laughing, and, you know, that's amazing. And as you said there, just giving somebody a smile when you're out and about, mate, is absolutely phenomenal. So I think the hold that you've got on yourself and the balance of keeping you and yours safe and happy, mate, is absolutely commendable. So I want to say thanks. Absolutely. I mean, he really is a top man and a genuine personal friend of mine. So I wanted Shaun to be the first person that I did one of these little interview things with. If you want to contact Shaun, what's the best way to get hold of you, pal? How do you want people to find you?
I don't mind via, you know, a phone call or WhatsApp. If you want my number, it's 07800 504 257. Email ShaunBPT@gmail.com. I'll answer any questions. But I am truly a person that loves to help, you know, any and all. And that's what's most important is, especially people that you don't know. And that's what's important. I think one of the lessons I learned about being in the army is that sometimes you don't always have blood family around you. And some of the people that you become friends, clients, and certain things turn into certain ways, and you almost see them as family as you do. But like I said, I did say to you one time again, like the Bruce Lee quote, under the heavens, under the skies, we are but one family. So whether this is man-made, whether it stemmed from this, that, and the other, we all are a race that we just got to try and get together and sort this out. And hopefully we can come out of this, you know, stronger people.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, pal. Make sure you look after yourself. I know you will. But stay strong, stay healthy, and you know where I am, folks. I will put Shaun's, because he's shared his number. I'll put Shaun's contact details. What I'm going to do is download this, flip it, and we'll put it up on my Facebook. If anybody wants to share it far and wide, I'll send Shaun across a link so he can put it out via his social media platforms and stuff, because this is a man that you really should interact with, speak to. He's coming from the right place, but you can see the silverware he's got behind him. If you want to step on stage and you want to present an awesome, award-winning, world-class physique, then Shaun Blackwood PT is your man. So thank you, sir, and thank you for your service. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Take care, mate.